All right. Hey, welcome to Kratos BI. My name's Chris Wagner. We've got Kana here. Kana, welcome to the show. How are you doing, sir?
I'm pretty good, Chris. Thanks for inviting me again. Good to see you.
Oh, it's great seeing you too. For people who don't know you, tell people what you do for a living.
I'm currently working as a senior Azure customer engineer at Microsoft, and I help and solve the problems for my customers on Azure footprint.
Well, that's fantastic. Now, the reason I reached out to you is you wrote an incredible blog the other day that I just saw that. I'm like, oh my gosh, people need to know about this. And so I'm going to have the link for the blog down below so people can read up and follow along. But can you tell me what was the inspiration? What happened that led to this solution that led to you writing this blog?
It's a good, interesting thing, Chris. As I mentioned, that I work with my uh, set of customers on a daily basis based on their problems, challenges, and thinking about how I can provide a solution that also mitigate the current challenges, but also meeting their business needs for the long-term values. So I came up with a scenario where one of my customer is running SQL Data Sync, is one of the Microsoft product, which is currently still available. It's going to be retiring sometime September 2027 next year. However, I feel that there was an opportunity for my customer to think about modernizing the platform to staying away from SQL Data Sync. So that's the reason I came up with different options if you want to start thinking about in advance 1 year to stay away from SQL Data Sync and look for other options that Microsoft recommends for you to implement on your footprint. Before going further, I just want to talk about a little bit about SQL Data Sync for my customers.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
So, SQL Data Sync is a service that is built on Azure SQL database that lets you synchronize the data uh, bidirectionally across multiple databases. If you have a database on-prem and also in the cloud, using SQL Data Sync, you can sync the database from on-prem to cloud. So it's one of the most popular concept of syncing the group, where you have a set of group, you can add like a set of databases that you want to synchronize. Basically, if you have analytic systems or reporting systems or some replicas that you want to use your applications using SQL Data Sync, you can sync the data from your source of truth to different systems, and you can let your application to access on secondary servers. So coming back to the question that you asked, if we can't use SQL Data Sync, what is the most recommended thing? I prefer, as I mentioned, that I started my career as a SQL DB and SQL developer, SSIS developer, Chris. So now staying away from SSIS package, I'm a big fan of Azure Data Factory, which is kind of a pipelines that you can run your systems. So using Azure Data Factory, running SQL databases to Azure SQL database synchronization is the best recommended approach. Why ADF is the most recommended? It's a fully managed Azure native data movement, and you have a enterprise grade level monitoring, so that you need to build custom level monitoring to monitor your data sync. And you have a better understanding of this flexible orchestration, where you want to see how the data moves from each block, right? Because that will help the customer or any user who is running the pipeline have a clear vision how my data is flowing. So you have a flexible orchestration. And the one thing I really like about ADF is that how to scale to a different deployments. So you can have child pipelines, multiple pipelines, synchronization, so that you run and scale your data to a different layers. So, and top of that, you have a CDC concept, which is a change data capture.
Okay.
So once you both database sync on your primary and secondary, you set up a CDC logic, which is change track CD or change data capture. You scale the system. Azure Data Factory is intelligent enough to understand changes happening on the primary server, which could be on-prem or Azure SQL DB or any other data sources on a cloud native platform. Then it syncs on the secondary server. Okay. It
Okay.
could be number of rows updated, deleted, or inserted. So you stay away from, is my system is syncing or not? So which is second phase I call as incremental synchronization, that happens using CDC or CT, which
Mm,
ADF runs incremental pipeline and reads only those deltas
okay.
full sync and applies them on a downstream, which is a secondary database in our case,
Mm-hmm.
and you can schedule on demand on a month, on a minutes, hourly, daily, and top of that, you can create a better monitoring and alerting if there is any pipelines fails or taking more time to finish, or if there is any latency between, for example, if you have a primary server and a secondary server, which is target could be SQL DB, if the latency is more than 30 minutes, you want to be get notified, but not using any third-party tools, but still you want to be get notified using the same pipelines, which is Azure Data Factory, is
Mm-hmm.
configure monitoring alerting. So my first preference is that Azure Data Factory. Again, it varies from each use case of the customer and business case. Based on that, I have different options that I listed out in my blog, but I always choose Azure Data Factory as the first option.
Sure. I think that makes a ton of sense. Uh, when you think about this, uh, if you start with the Azure Data Factory, like how quick can someone like implement something like this as they're looking at, they're staring down uh the barrel. This is ending in 2027, right? Which is not far away, right?
Yeah, yeah.
um how do you recommend people like come up with what is best for them?
Well, it's a really good question, Chris. Again, as I mentioned, first thing I want them to understand that what is the current problem, current
Hmm.
challenges, what is the business scenario, what is the business use case, and what they're trying to solve for their end users. Based on that, I try to look at these statements accordingly. I start look at what are the different options that you can looking to implement some changes. Active geo replication is something that you can always do that, or simple database copy or read replica. And one
Mm,
more thing is that now we are talking about fabric mirrored databases, which are not listed much in my blog, but you can also use that option to synchronize your data.
mm-hmm.
And, if you have any event driven system or application, you can also use Azure functions, which are not implemented on my system, but it's mostly popular when you have event driven systems. So to answer your question, this varies completely based on each customer to customer, Chris,
Okay.
and identifying their business use case, RPO, and the latency of the data which they want to sync up in secondary database. So, but to start with the Azure Data Factory, it's simple. It's a drag and drop. As long as you have an endpoints connection from your source to your destination, you can configure. You can write T-SQL. You can write Python. You can write your development using Java. So it's much more self-taught. I can say that. Maybe in the link I can send some link information about how to get started with Azure Data Factory. But it's more like a self-explanatory. If you have a background of what DTS packages and SSS package, you should be more familiar with Azure Data Factory.
Sure, sure. I mean, they kind of like lead one into the other here, right? So yeah, I think that makes a ton of sense. And I have to say, the thing I really liked about this article is not only did you lay out what the problems and challenges were, but you had many options for what the solutions or replacements are for this. Any big key takeaways or learnings that you'd want to share with people?
Uh, It's a really good question, because as we evolved over the time, every services come with new features. It could be retiring or many changes. I always look at few things in my area whenever I'm trying to talk to my customers or internal discussion. Is there an opportunity to modernize your platform? Okay. Uh, do you have a scope or system where you stay up to date with the latest technologies? Okay. When I say modernization, is something that look for opportunities in your footprint and identify some areas rather than sitting back on uh, working towards the last 60 days or 70 days of your service retirement of any service. Okay, it could be anyone. So lay out a proper plan. This service is retiring in next 6 months. What are the options that we have? And start working towards the options and start testing the options in a lower environment and make sure that you bring into production environment rather than hurrying up things in last 30 days. So for me, I lay out complete architecture, identifying the services, identifying the area of opportunity to modernize your platform, and clearly writing down the timelines when you want to do that, and identifying the stakeholders for each application based on your downstream applications. Okay, then work as a project and ensure that you modernize your platform before the existing services retires within the time, so that you have an option to ensure that you test the systems thoroughly with all monitoring and telemetry systems to be captured.
That makes great sense, Karana. All right. So if you had a magic wand and you could wave it, and anyone who's watching this video would go do such thing, what advice or what would you want people to do?
Uh, Again, I prefer to take a look at this blog that gives little information about what is data sync, when it is going to retire, and what are the different options we have. And if you have any questions or comments that you want to pass, please free to comment on my blog. And if you want to reach out to me, you can reach out to me on LinkedIn, and happy to discuss much. But again, as I said, these are different options based on the different use cases. There's nothing called thumbprint or a rule or carbon copy that you need to implement. It varies from each business case and use case of your system.
I think that makes a ton of sense, man. Hey, thank you so much for joining us and talking us through this. I really appreciate it. I know that people watching it really appreciate it. So thank you for joining us. And
Thank you,
hey,
Chris. Thank you.
yes, thank you for tuning into the video and watching to the end. Make sure you like, subscribe, smash that like button. If you like this, and like, call IT to let them know you need a new like button installed because you busted it because on this video. Thank you for watching this. We really appreciate your time. You go out there, you give this a shot, read his blog, try this stuff out. Let's get ahead of this discontinuing of the service and make sure that you're successful. All right, go out, have the best day ever. Peace. Baker Tilly Digital combines strategic industry insight and advanced technical expertise to uncover and solve your digital transformation challenges. If you're interested in learning more, check out our website at bakertilly.com/digital.